Mayor Lee and Mr. Schumart, and discuss some other things, because I believe there are some other things out there. We're communities that just sit on the opposite side of the river. That's the long and the short of it. And we should be working better for both of our communities by doing things jointly.
Well, that question seems to just keep popping up and popping up. The reality is, we met with Mayor Lee last week. We've been meeting with him. I probably met more with him in his administration than I did previous administrations before after Ted Egan. When they talked about the surveys, and we didn't want to contribute money to that. Frankly, I didn't see any reason to, because what is happening is the only thing I could see happening, as Bill alluded to. Bottom line is, you've got to have bodies on both sides of the river. You've got to have enough men to fight the fires. The only way that you can do anything that I saw is exactly what we're doing now, sharing administration. As far as the rest of it, equipment, Mayor Lee and I have talked about that. We're looking at different pieces of equipment. As a matter of fact, both fire departments are doing inventory right now, so we can do a 5 and 10 year plan. There's no reason for us to buy the duplicate equipment that they do. The waste treatment plant, we'll go back to that. You know, we sat down and talked joint about that. The older councilmen remember that when we were working on that. The location that we found was a location that it should have been for both communities. When we built the plant, if you go out there, picture on the wall over there, you see a lot of green space. That's for future expansion, and they could come onto our system. We actually even got extra heads there in case they did. So I don't think there's as much disagreement as some folks would like to think. You know, our department heads work together. Our police, our fire, as you said, mutual aid. We do the same thing in the police. I mean, our police go over there and help them. They come over to help us. I think we've got a better relationship than sometimes is portrayed. And we also work with other cities. You know, we work with Morrison and anyone else that we can work with and help.
Getting back to the riverfront, I remember when the plans were presented maybe a month or so ago. And one of the things the gentleman talked about was the fact that you needed to incorporate what your plans are for the riverfront with the downtown business community. And we've mentioned before, you know, maybe that they are feeling maybe a little bit left out. How do you bridge that gap within your own community and move forward with riverfront development?
Well, we're already doing that. There was a survey sent around all of downtown businesses probably about 2 or 3 months ago. RFCDC is waiting to get them all together, and they expanded that beyond the uptown area down to First Avenue. Let's get the business folks in, see what exactly they're looking for, and then the funding. The other part of the coin is, you know, we have some businesses down there that took initiative to do things, and we have some that didn't. Some of those are out-of-town owners, and they just don't care. And if you go to Sterling, you'll see some of the same things. If you go to Dixon or any other community, you know, to try to get pride in your own business is something that we can't make people do. As far as the funding mechanisms, again, we're willing to work if we know the direction they want to go. But, you know, on Main Street or something like that, as I alluded back to earlier, when Alderman Kuhlmeyer was in office, he did do that, and it went for 20 years, and we saw things happen. Times change. And I think that any new business is a good business. As long as they're zoned right, they're doing what they're supposed to do, you know, we're supportive of that. When you go in, as far as the riverfront goes, I think that has to be the base, and then we'll work the other direction. But it can only be East 2nd, West 2nd, and has to be First Avenue as well. That is our business district.
Well, I talked about the Main Street program already, so I don't think the only thing that I would add is that, you know, revitalization of the area will lead to reinvestment. and before I didn't say it, and I will agree with my opponent here, that it's not just East 2nd Street, or correction, West 2nd Street, it's also businesses on First Avenue. That's what I consider the downtown. But I talked about the Main Street program, so I'll just cut my response short because I think I kind of already answered that one.
This question is for Mr. Wescott. When it comes to compensation, the compensation you made as clerk is higher than that you would make as mayor. So what is motivating you to want to run for mayor at this junction?
Join my world.
There you go. Probably hadn't thought about that, no.
Really?
To be fair, it was a question that was emailed to me from someone in the community that I asked you.
Okay. Well, let's take it one step further. When I was a paramedic, I made a lot more money than I did as city clerk. So why would I then now become mayor? It's not about the money at all. It's about having an opportunity to continue to give back. I'm 60 years of age, and whether I ran for mayor this time or not, I would have been retiring anyway. My pension is funded through the IMRF, and if you don't go when your salary is at the highest 48 months, 10 years prior to your retirement, you lose hundreds of dollars a month. So that was a no-brainer. If I made it this far, I have to at least get 1 or 2 checks, and my first check will be in the mail and will arrive the first week of June, I'm very happy to say. But it's not about, the mayor's position only pays $12,000, and you can participate in the insurance program as well, but you pay your portion of the insurance. So that salary, if you get on the insurance program, leaves you a couple dollars a month to go to McDonald's maybe. It's not about the money at all. It's more about continuing what I have always believed in, and I know the paper quoted this, and I will say it, but when I married my lovely wife Linda back in 1979, we got married, we bought a house, and I started in the ambulance business in a matter of, and she just looked at me like, is there anything else that we're going to do? And jokingly, and she will tell you this, I told her that, yep, someday I was going to be mayor of the city of Rock Falls. Might have been a whim, it might have been just something to make her feel even worse than she already felt. But, you know, being involved in volunteerism, being involved in this community, having the opportunity to serve as an alderman, the finance chairman, to serve 10 years as the city clerk, to be involved in government and continually be involved with the people here, believing in this community and thinking that there are still better days ahead. It's something that I want to be involved with. I feel that I can contribute from a leadership standpoint and bring people together, people with the same and different ideas. Taking a pay cut really has absolutely nothing to do with it, because if we were all here for the money, I mean, our city aldermen only make $3,600 a year and attend 5 or 6 meetings a month and endless hours of research and other things, so it's not about the money. So that's really about all I have to say. Does Dave get to answer that? Would you be next?
Answer why he wants to be mayor.
I think that's a fair question, Dave. Why would you want to be mayor? Again, that gives you a little opportunity here.
Well, it's for money. You know, I was on the city council for 8 years, years back. I served as a mayor pro temp during Mayor Arden's illness, and I did what I thought I needed to do to help our community. And then I didn't run for 8 years, and I didn't like what I saw. I have a problem. My wife always tells me that I have a philosophy, either stand up or shut up, and I never can shut up, so I would stand up and get myself into trouble. So, you know, I ran again. I think if you look at where we were at back then and where we're at today with the new sewer plant, the riverfront, the balanced budgets and everything else that goes with it, you know, I think that's the reason I ran, because I care. I could be sitting out at my cabin fishing every day instead of listening to some of our folks come in, and, you know, I have an open door policy, and some days that's what I get done. I just have folks come in and talk and ask questions, sometimes have complaints, sometimes a little louder than other times, but that's what we're here for. We're here to serve our community, make it better than it was, and there's always room for improvement. I think we got a great community. I love this community. I've been involved in about everything that we've done. You know, past president 2 times, chairman of the board, Boy Scouts. I've done many things for our community, and I think everyone that runs for office does it because you have to care. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. Frustration that we put up with sometimes is, you know, it's pretty heavy. And I've got a good council. We've got great aldermen. We work together well. We run things by them. They have their opinions. I have my opinions. But at the end of the day, when the opinions are over, the decision is made. That's how it is. And you know, you can talk to the aldermen here. When Brian came on, Clerk with me years ago. When we came on, when I came in as mayor, I had 4 new aldermen. And one of the questions I had is, what do you think of that? And I didn't quite know at the time, but you know, we had 4 older gentlemen that had some time in, and we had 4 new young guys that had some ideas, and it's worked out well. Everybody has their opinions.
Well, that's it. You get 30 minutes each